I will try to win at chess with the restriction that I can only move 3 pawns. So this means I can move my pieces as many times as I want, but I can only pick 3 pawns to move. So let's get started. So the reason that I am doing this challenge is not because I like torturing myself, but because I believe that so many people move way too many pawns during their chess games. So let's try if we can make this happen. So very important for this challenge, I think, will be to use central pawns, because if I move any other pawns that are not central pawns, most likely those moves won't be important enough, and I will basically be in trouble. I also think I will have to move my e-pawns and d-pawns, because of course it is very important that I can open up. But this is already not looking too great, because if he starts attacking, then I need to be able to move this pawn to h6 as well. So I will need to move this, otherwise I cannot develop this bishop. My plan was to move the e, d, and c pawn, but I don't know if that is going to work out in this specific game, because if they come at me with the h4, h5, yeah, we are pretty much in trouble. So maybe I will save one of my pawn moves here so I can save my bishop. And it's strange that it seems to me like I am playing against an opponent who, for some reason, decided to do the exact opposite of my strategy. It looks to me like they are trying to move as many pawns as possible. But they are also, of course, playing quite terrible chess, because this is not how you play. They are already in check. And I think they are already somewhat in trouble if I play my bishop here and attack their rook. I honestly don't know. I have to say, lately I have been playing more games with this rating climb account, and I was surprised by the strength of these 1500 rated players. I was really surprised, because it's not always easy for me as a 2000 plus to win against them. But now they are just completely ignoring everything, and they already have their king on this square on move 6. So very confusing. I thought this would be a little bit more complicated, but I am very happy because we still only move 2 pawns. So I have 1 pawn move left. And I think we are already in quite a good position here with this knight being under attack twice. And I don't even know if there is any easy way to defend it. Yeah, they can defend it with the king. That's probably not the right move, but yeah, why not? So what are we going to do? I think the strategy will be to use our final pawn here to launch an attack on the king, because I will have to be very, very aggressive here. I can't allow this to go into an endgame. If I get into an endgame, yeah, I think that will be game over, basically. Because, of course, in the endgame, you would need to push a lot of pawns. You would also need to promote. So this is going to be our 3rd pawn. So EDC, these are the pawns that I am able to move. So that means, of course, in the future, I can move these pawns again, but I cannot use any of my other pawns. So basically, all of these are just, yeah, going to stay on these squares for the rest of the game, most likely. I honestly don't know why my opponent is playing such a strange setup. With the king in the center, very surprising. My idea here is to start the quickest attack possible, because as I said, I think that's the only thing that I can attempt to do, and that is to attack as much as I possibly can. We do have to watch out here for some tricks happening in the future, but I don't think there is any immediate danger. So I am going to activate more pieces. We do need to attack. I can't allow an endgame. I also think that maybe going knight here and there might have also been a plan. Trying to check the king, basically. The only problem is then we block this bishop from guarding the pawn. But I think that's just a temporary problem. I could take here, but then he is just going to take with another pawn. I would rather keep the tension so we can in the future maybe recapture and activate a bishop. So knight to f5. I'm really trying to use my pieces here. I don't know what's going to happen if he starts attacking my queen like a madman. Because honestly, I feel like we might run out of squares at some point. I'll throw in this check first. Which was actually, now that I realize, it's super dangerous, because that might have been a square for the queen in the future. So let's see what he does. I think he's going to run that way with the king. which means I think that we can just take this pawn. But if he then runs that way, I guess my queen is trapped. That would trap my queen. Because my knight is here, blocking. So that would be a free pawn, but we just lose the queen. I think at least. I don't see any square that I could go to. So I might need to move the king first or create an extra square for it. But the queen is already in so much danger. Let's go to this square. But I think we do have something. This king cannot be safe for a long time here in the middle of the board. Also, we might be just exchanging, but I don't want to exchange too many pieces because I have been thinking from the start that if I start exchanging, yeah, basically I am ruining my final chances. But maybe this pawn capture in the center will be the only one that I will play, because then we can activate the bishop as well and maybe get a rook, not here, but to the c file. So I think it's very good that I saw that our queen would be trapped. That would just be the end of this challenge immediately. So I don't know if he has that many options. He played the most terrible of openings, which I did not expect. This man is giving me some chances to win the challenge. I can take here, they can take, and then I have two knights aiming at that same pawn, so I can just take. Then I have a bunch of pieces near the king. I can activate my dark squared bishop. I can activate my rook. So it looks to me like we should have something going on here. And white basically cannot really develop pieces. It's like everything is stuck, almost. It's too bad we couldn't capture this, but I think this square is actually the starting square for the king. That will be the square that we need to somehow get control over. If we can control that square, I think we have some checkmating opportunities. That's also a bit of a strange move, because I think if I take, we win a pawn, or takes with the bishop, we win a pawn, but we might get into a position where the queen is attacked basically for the rest of the game, and I don't want that to happen. So I think I will take here. That's a pawn move, but it is a pawn that we have used this one before. So the EDC pawns, for example, if this bishop is ever captured, I am allowed to recapture. Same case with this knight. But I don't think he has a good recapture here. I think everything will be quite terrible, because it looks to me like this should be so close to checkmate. So close to checkmate. There should be something here, but he is again going to that square, and I don't really have a solution for that. So I don't see the checkmate. This looks so tempting, but I think we just allow him to escape. So I think what I will do is I will play this check first. He doesn't have a legal move except going in with the knight. And if I then, let's calculate. If I take, check, he only has one legal square, and I can then take this with a check. But he can block with the bishop, and then I take this. I mean, I don't think we are winning the game with that combination, but we are winning a bunch of pawns. And I just realized that maybe I should also think about castling at some point. Because if we give a check, he goes here, we give this check, he plays this, I take this. Well, he always has the counter check with the queen, but we would be protecting against that. But he might have this move. So I don't know, we can go for this. Yeah, I think I'll go for it, but might also be dangerous. We might have been better off just castling first, because I don't want to suddenly be in checkmate. That's another check, and I think we take this, and the fact that the queen is guarding those two squares will save us, because he has this check, but I as long as we go to a dark color square, but I have to be very careful which square I choose. I think as long as I go to a dark color square, I will be fine. Because I can't move any pawns in the future to get my king in the... because this doesn't work. We have this covered. Okay. Now he is trying to play for this. So, oh yes, I was thinking we could play a5, but that's an illegal move. We cannot move. But we cannot move this. That's some trouble. My other plan was to go for this, which I think is a winning attack. But the problem is he just gives that check and then we are in trouble because our queen is under attack. What can we do here? I don't know, honestly. Maybe move the rook? But if he gives me this check, I always have that square, right? I think I'll just activate the rook. If he gives us this check, the queen is protected, by the way. Everything is fine. We do have one square. And we are up material, but I think we have to start some type of exchange. That's the only hope we have. Or maybe try some checkmate. But I wouldn't mind exchanging a bunch of pieces. Although we have to be careful because even in the endgame, since we don't have the opportunity to move pawns, it's probably still not going to be enough. This looked like such an interesting move, but I don't think it's ever going to work. That's an exchange plus a fork plus an attack on the bishop. So I think he just ruined his own chances again. The funny thing is, I think he can go for a perpetual check. If he just checks, and he basically keeps checking forever because I cannot do anything except move the king or give up a rook. So that would be probably the end of the game. Okay. But he doesn't see... This is probably the weakest 1500 I have seen in a long, long time. Because this man just allowed us to do this fork. And I won't be capturing this rook. The rook is useless. I will capture this bishop because that solves big part of this checkmating issues that we have. And if he puts a rook here, which is such a normal looking move, I think he will be in extreme trouble because we can just take and it looks like an easy game. Okay, now we should be looking for some type of checkmate. I don't even know what he is doing. He is running his king straight into my position. This man is crazy, I have to say. Let's do this check. Funny thing is, I cannot check him with any of these pawns, so even if there would be a checkmate, that is illegal. But I think he is really walking into a checkmate himself. The crazy thing is, this pawn pushes a checkmate. But it's illegal. Okay. Let's move another rook. I don't know if we have a way to checkmate. Yeah, but I am pretty sure we are going to win this if I don't lose on time. He probably also thinks that I am the strangest player he has played against because I am not even doing anything with the pawns. I'm not going for the checkmates. I think we have a checkmate if I can get the knight here, but I don't really see how. We need to go there from a dark square. And to get to a dark square, I need to come from a light square, which is also impossible. So I don't see how we would do that. Maybe this. Yeah, I have to move the knight now anyways. And we are probably going to lose that pawn. No, wait. He just gave me a rook. he just gave me another piece for free. But our knight is under attack, so I'll go here. If he takes, by the way, I am not allowed to recapture with the pawn. I would have to take with the rook. Exchanging basically is all we need. If I can just keep exchanging, that would be great. Yeah, I think this is fine. If he trades, we just have an extra rook. And I think with an extra rook, I should be able to checkmate even if I can't move any of the pawns. But this is getting quite crazy. And I knew it. I was thinking, this man is not just going to trade. Instead, he is going to lose a pawn. Because that is more fun than trading. But now I have to see if I can find a checkmate, which I think should be possible, but let me first activate a rook, because if this man starts pushing, he can just grab that pawn, and there is nothing that I can do about it. Now his king is stuck. And we need to get this rook here. I think that will save the game. But I have to say, like I said, I think he is probably the worst player I have seen. And I have seen many bad chess players. Let's activate the rooks. Maybe this square can be something. Okay. Let's just double up the rooks. I honestly don't know where this is going, but yeah. Now we have this under attack. So basically he blundered again. Now we just have double attack. But I only have 1 minute, so. But I think we are winning this. The funny thing is, if I'm playing seriously for my rating climb, sometimes this is still difficult. And now that I'm just joking around, trying not to move any pawns as a stupid challenge, now it's suddenly way easier. Let's do this because that's a checkmate. I think we will have a ladder checkmate anyways. Yep, that makes sense. But I think I can just cut off this and then basically do a ladder checkmate like that. So I think we are going to win this with only 3 pawn moves. I am almost out of time. But I also have to say that this was probably one of the worst players that I ever faced. Let's do this. Because he is trying to stop my ladder checkmate. I think he saw it. Now we have this checkmate. No, it's not a checkmate. I should have probably go from the other way around. But even if it's not a checkmate, if I can win his rook, I think that's also fine. Dope. That's it.